Hello my friends, welcome to Canadian Immigration Channel. Typically, you know that on the channel we're trying to talk about positive things, how good it is to relocate to Canada, how to do it successfully, how to be successful upon arrival. But sometimes, yes, of course, I read negative comments from people saying, well, Canada is not as good as you were saying, Canada is not for everyone. So, well, I decided to record this video where I would discuss about immigrants who are leaving Canada. So here are my top 5 reasons why immigrants decide to leave Canada after arrival. And basically these reasons are taken from friends, from those we know, from our clients who were successful and later on decided to relocate, from someone who knows someone. So pretty much we accumulated, asked people around, and got 5 typical reasons, 5 causes why people decide to leave Canada after all. And well, let's start with the basics one, the cost of life, high cost of life compared to other countries. Everything is expensive in Canada, not as expensive as say in Iceland, but still quite expensive. It pretty much attracts to crazy prices for real estate. It's pretty high prices for daily necessities, is high prices for groceries compared to other southern neighbors. Give or take, you would add 20-25% to everything you would see in the States. And well, it's quite reasonable given the fact where we live, how difficult it is sometimes to deliver goods in here, and just the fact that people in general are more wealthy in Canada than in the United States. I'm talking about general, right? Statistically based, and therefore, well, it's okay for many grocery stores to mark up things more expensive, and there are lots and lots of reasons for those. So cost of life in here is more expensive, and some people cannot cope up with that. And here goes the second reason, which is financial difficulties. Most of those difficulties, they come up to pretty much and are caused by poor planning. Remember, in every single video where we're talking about what you would have to do prior to arrival to Canada, I always mention plan your budget. Plan your budget carefully. When federal government of Canada says, well, for one person it has to be 12,500 Canadian dollars, for 2 people more and more and more and more, altogether this is the minimum, and that's exactly how you have to look at it. If you come to Canada, say as a family, and you got like $19,000 for a family of 3, trust me, this money will be drained away like very, very quickly. So planning carefully what you will do, how you will do it, which cell phone data plan you would purchase. Maybe your wifey will not use the cell phone for the first half a year and you would use one, or you would not be looking to live in an expensive place, etc., etc. All those plannings will help you out to avoid financial problems in the beginning. Those problems sometimes they are unbearable for new immigrants, therefore they decide to leave Canada. Third reason comes up to loneliness, like feeling yourself alone, if you will, the way where you do not have a couple. If you're coming as a lone immigrant, you do not have friends around, you do not have family around, nobody's helping you. Well, it seems like nobody's willing to help because you do not have that close circle of connections you used to have before, and psychologically it's quite difficult. It's like, well, if somebody tells me tomorrow that, you know what, you gotta just pack your stuff and go to Germany for 10 years, what the heck would I be doing there? I mean, my first question would be like, I don't know anyone in there. I know a couple of clients of mine, right? They will probably recommend me somebody, but that will not actually create the same feeling as I got here in Canada. Therefore, it could be quite challenging for immigrants. The fourth reason will probably be high expectations and probably unwillingness to start from the scratch. Every time I say that, look, you got to be prepared. You got to be mentally prepared as well, that all your work experience from back home, it is close to zero in here. And no offense, I know lots of people recommend and saying, I'm absolutely wrong. Well, guys, better be prepared. Better be prepared for the worst, and be prepared for the fact that probably nobody cares where you were working at Microsoft India or IBM in Pakistan. Nobody gives a dime about this stuff when you arrive to Canada. You're lucky if you find yourself a job. You're lucky if that previous career experience would be considered. In most of the cases, it would not be. Therefore, many of you are actually find it's quite difficult to start from the scratch, especially if you're 30 plus. You had that wonderful career back home, and here you arrive and you're literally no one. So you gotta start climbing up that ladder from really like the bottom, going to McDonald's, for example, going and starting working at a fast food chain. It's absolutely unbearable for some people. Therefore, as I said, immigrants sometimes leave. And last but not least, the fifth reason is our climate. There's absolutely no way not to mention it. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's terrible, but sometimes it's unbearable, especially for those of you who are coming from warm countries, right? You're coming in and suddenly we have winter, we got summer, we got fall, we got pretty much all four seasons, and sometimes these seasons, difference between these seasons is quite striking. Therefore, not too many people would be happy about it. Not too many people would love winter and say that they're willing to stay in Canada for the sake of all four seasons. Therefore, climate is actually something to be prepared for as well. Now, I'm not trying to say that Canada is paradise. It's definitely not. I'm not trying to say that Canada is bad. Well, of course it is not, right? Otherwise it would not be ranking as one of the top countries in the world. But at the same time, what I'm trying to, the message I'm trying to convey is that Canada is quite challenging for new immigrants unless you are carefully prepared, unless you are mentally ready to work and climb up and dig deeper and deeper and deeper every single day. I mean, I could continue on and on with lots and lots of pros and cons. Like, I don't necessarily like educational system in Canada. I do not necessarily agree with the government of Canada on many aspects. I mean, with the current government, God forbid, of course, I haven't voted for them, and I do not agree on many points, but still, Canada is one of the best countries in the world to live in as long as you're prepared. Pack your stuff, do your homework, be prepared, come in. Got questions? Feel free to comment or send us an email and we'll be glad to help.